A while ago, way back when I was aim coaching Zexro and he was a Valorant player for Dark Zero, he had one major issue that kind of stood out to me. He had some insane sensitivity crisis. He couldn't find what sensitivity was best for him to play on. This was the first time I saw a really bad sense crisis, but I've seen it many times since. When coaching, students will tell me one sense, they can't do one thing, and on another, they can't do another thing. Usually it's on a high sense, they can't aim precisely, hit heads, whatever, and on a low sense, they can't aim as quickly, move as far, entry, flick fast, or something like that. They always want to know which sense to use when they can't balance things, and which sense will help them balance things. In really specific aim trainer scenarios, this question actually has an answer. If there's only one task you're trying to do, sometimes a really extremely low sense that doesn't allow you to move very far, very fast, but makes targets feel really huge helps, because in some aim trainer scenarios, you don't have to move your mouse far at all. But in games, there's so many different aim situations that you can't isolate one specific skill or one specific situation for a sense. 1 minute you're holding a cross-map aim goal doing a very small flick or a very small track or something. The next minute you're running into sight, running up to people, flicking between angles as much as possible. If you're flicking too much, you might have bad game sense, which means you should join Gosu Academy using my link and support me for 1 free month, link in description. But you still need to aim, so let's dive into what's really causing the sense crisis. People will say that low sensitivity is what's preventing them from moving around, looking fast, flicking fast, clearing sight, and all that stuff. If you have a big enough mouse pad, let's run an experiment. Go to some super low sense that you don't think you could ever flick fast on, and then move your hand back and forth super fast, just as fast as you can move your hand. Don't even try to aim at targets, just see how fast you can get the crosshair to move. You'll notice that your arm actually can go really fast, you just can't control the flick speed or anything close to it. It's not the sense that's capping your flick speed, it's your ability to control your hand when it's moving really fast. Similarly, on a really high sense, your issue isn't the sense that's making you unable to hit small targets. If you run 3200 DPI, your mouse can divide every inch into 3200 smaller parts. It is recording insanely precise inputs. No matter how precise the sense gets, it's not becoming unable to hit a head. Your hand is also able to move the mouse really slightly and precisely. Let's run a similar experiment to the last one. Try to move your mouse as slowly as possible and as slightly as possible. I bet you're able to hit a head of the average size opponent if you go really slowly. In fact, I bet you're able to move your mouse 1 or 2 pixels at a time if you go slowly enough. Any sense has room to hit a reasonably sized target. The issue isn't coming from your sense or the fact that your hand is physically unable to move at a small enough distance. It's coming from the fact that you haven't practiced aiming precisely enough to be able to do it at a good speed. So the reason people end up in a sense crisis is because they realize they have an issue. It's usually either that the high sense doesn't let them be as precise as they want to be, or the low sense doesn't let them be as fast as they want to be. They notice that changing their sense helps mitigate the issue they're having, because unlike practicing, changing a sense is instant and effortless. They change their sense, and all of a sudden they notice that the issue they were noticing becomes less noticeable. But the opposite issue becomes more noticeable, and now they think that there's some middle ground sense where they'll have no issue because changing a sense made one issue get better. That's not the case. It's just a skill issue. You're just choosing which skill that you don't have that you want to be most expressed and which one you want to mask with sensitivity. So if you really want to fix your sense crisis, you got 2 options. First, regardless of which option you pick, you got to accept that no matter what sense you use, you're going to have some kind of issue because you're not a perfect aimer. Then you got to choose. You can either practice your aim, get better, watch these issues become significantly less noticeable, or just keep playing knowing you're bad and it's not your sense and accepting that. You can choose either option. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just a game. So if you enjoy not playing well and just having fun, that's fine. But if you're in the first group and you really want to learn how to practice your aim, which I'm assuming most people watching this video would, here's a few scenarios you can run. Use wide wall 3 targets Pokeball for wide flicks, extra controls view and raw mouse control clicking 3 for precise aiming. If you want more tips like this, subscribe. Thanks for watching.